Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. It's time for us to switch gears and talk all things transportation this morning as we reflect on best practices in the transport sector, bringing information that will be of great advantage to you as you drive along this wonderful morning. This is Lagos Transport Trends and Perspectives. It comes to you every Tuesdays from 9:15 through 10 o'clock. It is an initiative of the Ministry of Transportation just to let you in on some of the current trends and some of the innovation sweeping through the sector in a way of making movement very seamless in Lagos from time to time. You're welcome. My name is Victor Oteri. All right, then. So today we're going to be reflecting on how to improve commuter mobility in Lagos. And we're doing that from the perspective of the Bus Reforms Initiative, which is one of the great initiatives for public transportation in Lagos. We're touching down on that very, very shortly. But let's get back to the roads and let you in. Most of the areas that we're covering this Tuesday morning still looking relatively cool and calm. If you're making the journey to the island, we can tell you that the Third Milan Bridge is still very accessible. Yes, the entire stretch of the bridge. But of course, you need to watch out for some slowness around Adekunle and Adeniji. But no major worries driving through that corridor. Ikorodu Road is better now. Earlier on, we had an accident around Maryland involving 3 vehicles. But the good news is that the saloon cars, 2 of them, they've been towed up to the Lasma yard, while we have the articulated vehicle, which is a tipper, has been moved to the BRT lay-by. So normalcy has been restored. Earlier on, we had a backlog that has stretched all the way to K2, but it's getting better right now as that has been dealt with. Ikeja along corridor still building up at Ilezik. That's Ilezik, Ajayi Farms, Ikeja along down to National. That entire stretch slow and steady, but no cause for alarm there. We have traffic managers visibly on ground managing the situation just to ensure that you have it good. PWD and Shogunle, as well as Ladikpo down to Bolade Junction, very much in perfect shape as we speak right now. Approaching Bolade by the traffic light is a little bit slow. Of course, you know how it is. It's a traffic light alternation corridor, but no worries there. We can also tell you that the return journey back to Cement, that entire stretch, proceeding through Bolade, looking pretty good. And we do not have any impediment within that particular corridor this morning. So we'll be serving you more helpings as they come in from time to time. All right, so on Lagos Transport Trends and Perspectives this morning, we're looking at improving commuter mobility in Lagos, Lekki Ekpe Bus Reforms Initiatives in view. And joining me in the studios right now, I have Engineer Olasukomi Ojowuro. He's a Director of Transport Operations, Ministry of Transportation right here in Lagos. Engineer Ojowuro, well, it's nice to have you back in the studios. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Victor. Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to everybody in the studio.
Right. Okay, so let's touch down on what the concepts are. Let's break it down first before we reflect on the commuter experience. So, Bus Reforms Initiative, for those who might not be very much aware of it, what does it mean?
Well, Bus Reform Initiative is a kind of comprehensive strategy to reform transportation or public transportation in the state. And this speaks to standardization. The buses need to be safe.
Okay.
And it also speaks to private sector participation because we have operators already in that space operating, and these ones will be part of the drivers of that vision, in the sense that they've been there for so long, they have the experience, they have resilience, and they're providing livelihood for drivers, conductors, and all those in that ecosystem. It has to do with operations. How do you sequence the movement of buses so that at peak periods you have available buses to convey commuters?
Okay.
And it also speaks to the kind of drivers you have. These drivers must be well trained because they are ferrying lives from one point to the other in the state. So it's a comprehensive strategy to reform public transportation in the state in order to make it efficient, effective, safe, and timely.
All right. So in terms of innovation and technology, does the bus reforms also come in there?
Yes, very good. I should have, said that earlier. In terms of technology, we have seen the cowrie system, that is the cashless system, whereby, it's seamless. How passengers, pay for their fares, and the ministry has gone a step ahead with ITS, intelligent transport system,
right,
whereby it reduces the human interface of managing traffic. And when traffic is effectively managed, it reduces congestion, so commuters also can get to their destinations.
Let's touch down on the BRI now, the Bus Reforms Initiative. So, how many of this initiative does Lagos have, and what areas is it being deployed?
Well, what we're doing in conjunction with Lamata is that we can't, bite more than what you can chew at a time. Apart from the BRT that's operational, apart from the rail, apart from the waterways that the state is developing, we, in partnership with Lamata, have selected a corridor, that is the Lekki-Epe corridor, to sanitize, to implement this bus reform initiative.
Is that the pilot?
That's the pilot program for Lagos now. And what we've done is that now we have been able to identify about 12 operators on that route.
Okay.
And these operators have registered with the ministry and Lamata. So we're not dealing with individuals on that route again now. It makes management easy for us. It makes enforcement easy. So these ones that have registered have now gone to the stage of bringing their vehicles for the vehicle inspection service to look at. So their vehicles have been inspected. Those that have passed have been notified of the status of their vehicles. The ones that need repairs have been notified of the kind of repairs they need to upgrade the vehicles to the level that will be the dream for that axis.
Right. So let's talk about the kind of buses now. So are these buses provided by government, or they are all provided by the private sector?
Thank you very much. I said something earlier about private sector participation is part of what drives the economy.
Okay.
There are already operators in that ecosystem. So what we've done is that we have brought them into the mix. Yes, the state through Lamata has some bus operators that are on that axis, but given the volume of passengers, of commuters, that is not sufficient. However, we now have pockets of individuals who are also running the routes with inappropriate vehicles, because it's not safe to have a Kurope on that Lekki expressway.
So the big question is, are Kuropes part of it?
Yes.
They are part of the bus reforms?
Yes, please. Because
I needed to answer this in comparison. So Kuropes and the Danfos, are the Danfos also part of it?
Very well.
They are part of it?
Very
okay.
well.
So talk to me. Why is that so?
Good. For the expressway, it is out of place for Kuropes to ply their routes. But people need to come from wherever they stay,
the inner roads,
to come to join the high capacity or medium capacity buses that will be made to run on those major routes. So for that, the Kuropes will be the ones bringing passengers from the inner arterial roads, from the communities, to the major bus stops. We call them hubs on that expressway. So they are part of the reform.
So on the main express, we should not find the Kuropes. That's what it means, right?
Eventually.
What about the Danfos? Are they going to be on the main expressway?
We don't. We categorize based on number of passengers.
Okay.
You understand? So if a Danfo, can only contain 14 passengers or less, it won't be on that corridor.
You mean it won't be on the expressway?
It won't be on the expressway. But for any vehicle that can take between, as from 15 passengers, and above, those ones can do, shuttle between some bus stops along the expressway.
Right.
But we'll be having high capacity and medium capacity buses running from maybe Marina, VI,
all all the way
Obalende to Aja and Lekki, and Ekpe as planned.
Oh, okay. So that's the plan.
Yes, please.
All right. I'm curious, and I need to put this to proper perspectives, because for those who are listening to us this morning, so we have the bus reforms initiative, we have the first mile and last mile system, right?
Yes, please.
Is this part of it? The Korokways and the Danfos, is that what they're going to be doing? Is it the first mile and last mile scheme?
Yes, that is what I maybe alluded to earlier. That from where you stay, supposing you stay in Okwaja now, and you want to come to Aja to join, you come into the mainland or you go into the island, of course, you have to, be able to access public transportation from, where you are to the major hub, which is, for example, Aja. So for that, you need the first and last mile. That is where the Krope will now come into play, and some downfalls that are of that category, of maybe 1 to 14 passengers. So they are part of the plan. We're not taking anybody out of business. What we're just doing is that we have, come up with a plan to segregate, to categorize the routes, categorize based on safety, based on volume of passengers that can be taken, based on world best standards, based on the need to move as many passengers at the same time. I'm also looking at pollution. A high capacity bus can take like 60 to 70 passengers.
All right.
A Korope takes, let's say, 10 passengers. So
and you need about 6.
You need about 6. So it means that you have 6 vehicles, emitting greenhouse gases and carbon into the air.
Right, from one location to the other. All right. So has the BRI, the bus reforms initiative, has it taken up yet?
We've hit the ground in the sense that I was trying to, bring you up to speed with where we are now.
Okay.
We have done the first round of inspection, and that inspection, I said, goes beyond VIS. Even the public transportation and commuter section are also involved, because all vehicles running on that route now will now have a barcode.
Oh.
So, and we've gotten, about 12 players, operators on that route, with nothing less than 50 vehicles on each in their fleet.
Okay.
So that helps us to manage to enforce. So when a vehicle, breaches traffic, law, you don't need to go running after that vehicle. All we need is you just scan the barcode, and we know the operator, and the operator gets the ticket for, that traffic offense. So, and the NVA too, for you to be able to, have the appropriate data, it means that the vehicle must be duly registered and must have the statutory papers needed for commercial transportation in the state. So it's in all the MOT family, the MD is responsible for managing public transportation.
So you guys are all integrated in all of this.
Yeah, in that mix. And
so has it kicked off yet? In terms of real operations?
We will soon.
You'll soon kick off. All right. What has been the response, really? Let's just get to the feedback from people there. What has been the response? Even the operators that are coming on board this bus reforms initiative, what has been their response? So far, so good.
Well, it is natural that, we humans will not want to initially resist any change, but the good news is that the operators have, come to understand that it is in the best interest of everybody, all Lagosians, but operators, commuters, and even the government, to align with this implementation, and we're getting the best of support from the operators themselves. We've gotten to the stage that for the vehicles that have passed, Lamata has given us the color code, because we're also changing the face entirely. You are going to have white and blue buses, because color rather, because that is the color for public transportation in Lagos State.
White and blue?
Yes, white and blue, the Lamata color. And the operators have been given these color codes for those vehicles that have passed the tests, that have the requisite papers, that have met up with the requirements. They are, they have commenced the painting as we speak. As we speak. So we know it takes about 3 weeks or thereabout to do some panel beating and paint the vehicle. So we're on track. we're on track.
All right, I'm just looking at this. Marina to Ekpe is a very, very long distance, so to say. If I'm looking at it properly, you might have nothing less than let's say 70 to 70 something kilometers or more than that within that entire stretch. 12 operators, would that be sufficient to cover the population of that corridor?
Don't forget that what we did is that we merged the already existing operators, or we allowed them to merge. Do you get the point?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as if you just brought them from the moon. So what the current operators running our routes are the ones that have come together in batches, in groups, to manage that, to be part of this BRI. And we've done our studies.
Okay.
How many vehicles that is high capacity or medium, or we call them some upper mini.
Okay.
That is, they can take more than 15 passengers. How many do we need to deploy at any given time to
that corridor?
That corridor, non-peak period and peak period. So we've done our studies, and we have seen that from our, the statistics that we have, that there are enough, required high capacity, medium, and mini to run on that axis during peak periods in the morning and late in the evenings.
Okay. All right. That sounds pretty good. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Lagos Transport Trends and Perspectives is the program this morning, and I have engineer Olasukomi Ojowuro. He is the Director of Transport Operations. We're reflecting on how to improve commuter mobility using the bus reforms initiative along the Lekki-Ekpe corridor as a reference point. And of course, you've heard from him some of the initiatives that they're bringing on board just to try and simplify things and make it better. You can join the conversation very shortly, but the Ikorodu Road, things are getting better right now, especially if you're heading towards Fadi. It's looking pretty good. If you're coming in from the Obanikoro, linking up with Onikpa and Palm Group, all that corridor to Obanikoro to Fadi is good. Fusha Williams Avenue is also receiving with good vehicular flow. Eco Bridge connecting Akmongbon, not bad at all. And we can tell you, when coming in from the rear too, things are getting much better as well. The Third Milan Bridge corridor is looking good all the way. That's if you're coming in from the Kala, Beja, 7-Up, Chinatown, Ikosi, rather Chinatown, Alakbere, and of course connecting Ogudu Car Wash, all that end, linking up to the Third Milan Bridge, all looking very good too. Lagos Abeokuta Expressway is still fairly good. If you're coming in from Yanokpaja, linking up with Goyi down to Dokpemu. Dokpemu linking up with Cement, also not bad at all. But from Ilezik, things begin to slow down, linking up with Ajayi Farms, Ikeja along, down to National. Slow and steady, that's the name of the game. Beyond that point, inwards Bolade down to Oshodi, it gets much better as well. 08099120777. 09153877127. Those are the numbers that you can connect with us this morning. Engineer Ojowuro, what's the overall objective of all of this? Where you put that in perspective to the experience that commuters will likely have. Let's talk about the benefits of this BRI.
Thank you very much. Safety is key, and it is one of the driving force of that initiative. So it means that commuters will be enabled to travel in very safe vehicles. What we have now is a shadow of what it should be, and that is what we're working on. Number two, the commuters also will experience a cashless system of payment of their their fares, unlike now whereby commuters are tied together. If the driver does not have the necessary change to give to them, it enhances that process. What you need to do is come into the bus, you tap in, and sit down, and the sequencing of even the movement of those buses along the routes also enhances, commuting from one point to the other.
So people
on
are going to
that
be
axis.
moving in safer buses.
Yes, and the drivers too. I was going to say that earlier, that it's one thing to have a driver's license. It is another thing to be able to drive defensively. So that's why LASRI is very much involved. And all the drivers who will be on that route, either on the main express, which we have high capacity and midi, or even the first and last mile routes, which will, have the corporates running, will have undergone LASRI training, just to enhance safety and ensure that we have people who are seen behind wheels, and that also is a plus for the state, for the operators, and for the commuters themselves.
All right then. This passage here says, "Good morning, Engineer Ojuro. Will there be a system in place for commuters to share real-time feedback or report issues? Thanks, Fei." He's sending that one in, Fei. Thank you so much. So, are you going to be providing that mechanism for people to give you some feedbacks?
Of course, we already have a mechanism. We have some, hotlines that, the commuters can call on, whenever there are, observations and feedbacks, and there are other Twitter handles and, Facebook, social media.
Okay.
But of course, for quick response, we have, hotlines that they can call. Yes.
All right, which will also reel out before the end of the program. All right, so in terms of the corridor, some have said, why is the Lagos State government still sustaining the use of the downforce? Can't they be banned entirely?
Well, it's logical. You don't create a problem or create problems because you want to solve a particular problem. Don't forget that there are operators already in that ecosystem. Now, we're not taking anybody off. We are onboarding, the downfall operators into a more finesse, a more effective and enhanced system of transportation. They have families.
Okay.
They are providing employment. They are providing livelihood.
Yeah, but
and they are serving a purpose.
Yeah, so now, some have said those downfalls disrupt the system. Some of them, they don't even have what it takes. I mean, when you look at some of them, they don't meet up to the standards. Some do not have side mirrors. Some do not have even their horns and all of that. So are you going to ensure that they are going to be standard vehicles that they make use of for their downfalls?
That is why it's called Bus Reform Initiative. The initiative targets three major key elements of transportation. The buses itself. Now we've said that for the buses that will eventually run on that route would have undergone the necessary inspection and would have passed VRS roadworthiness tests. The drivers themselves will undergo LASRI training so that we have sane drivers, on that route. And also the operation, it goes beyond, buses just running on that route. We are identifying bus stops. There are what, standards as per, where the distance between bus stops, it could be 500 meters, it could be 300 meters, depending on some factors. So those, we are working on a lot of things.
So you're trying to ensure that most of those bus stops are properly labeled and identified?
Signages and everything.
All right, messages coming in here for you. By the way, you can join the conversation, 091 5387-7127. That's 091 5387-7127. That's the numbers that you can call, or you can send your messages, just like some have done, to 08099120777. This one says, "Good morning, Victor. When can commuters along the Lekki-Ekpe corridor realistically expect to see and feel the impact of these reforms?" Akin from Ozumba, Mbajiwe. Akin, thank you so much. So, is there a realistic time that all of this will begin?
Very soon.
Okay.
Very soon. So I can't give specifics because, you see, reform, is not something that you just, just do overnight. There are so many stages, that reform takes, and sometimes there are issues that come, or I would say challenges that come along during reform. We've been on this since April, but to the glory of God, because of our resilience, our determination, especially of my principals and all the agencies involved, we'll be making progress. And we are nearing that point where you all, experience that smooth transport movement,
right,
from one point to another along the Lake Expressway.
Let me see if I can take this call. Hello there, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Rebecca on the line.
Okay, Rebecca, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from AIT, Alagbado.
All right, Rebecca, let's hear from you.
Okay, yes, actually, I just want to comment Engineer Ojo. He has been a very hardworking man, and I'm very sure it's going to give us a good input in Lagos State.
Okay.
I've heard much about him, so I just want to compliment him. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm grateful.
All right. That's Rebecca from AIT. And some questions here for you. Let me see again. This one is coming from... Okay, what's the name? It says... it says, good morning, great team. It said, when are we going to start seeing our bus stops automated, where commuters get to the bus stops, look up and see the next minute a bus will arrive? Abdul Malik. Wow, Abdul Malik, it's been quite a while. I heard from you, but thank you so much for sending that one. So is it possible we can have those automated bus stops?
Sure. We're moving, but there are so many factors you have to consider. There are some of those bus stops already in Lagos, and some of these bus stops have been vandalized. We have them in TBS. We have some of them along Ikorodu Road and even in Ikorodu along the BRT corridors, whereby we have ITS information when the next bus is arriving.
So one can see from the screen.
Yes. We have such. It's in TBS. We have on Ikorodu Road and some BRT lanes. But
so are you going to activate that for the Lekki Ekpe corridor as well?
We'll get to
We'll get there
gradually.
Right. All right, this one says, good morning, Mr. Victor. My question is...
Good.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Victor. This is Comrade Daniel.
Comrade Daniel, how are you doing?
I'm good. And you?
Very good, too. Let's hear from you.
Yes, good morning, engineer.
Good morning, sir.
All right, yes. Fortunately, Marek just asked the question I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Because all the bus policies in Lagos were very beautiful. My concern is actually that timing. People are being discouraged. They commuters wait for up to 3-4 hours for a particular bus to come, especially that of race course to Beggars Route, the Oshodi to Beggars Route. Those are challenging. But when commuters will get frustrated and they all disappear, you can see hundreds of them waiting to board the bus. But the bus doesn't arrive in time.
Right. Okay.
And it's a kind of waste of manpower.
That's true.
If those buses actually adhere to display timing, destinations, and so on, but unfortunately they're not functioning. We have one at the Obalende section of it. We have one at, of course, the Oshodi terminal and so on. I noticed it, but they are not working.
They're not working.
I think if the policies could, yes, if the policies can include timing, as it's done in other developed climes, I think people will abandon their vehicles. We enjoy taking the app because of the dedicated lanes. To avoid traffic, we have an appointment. Very beautiful. But we need to do more in the area of timing. When you come to the bus stop, you discover that, the bus will move by 4 p.m. You are there before 4 p.m. Or the next one is coming in the next 30 minutes or then you could be patient. So these are the challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Comrade Daniel. So what are you guys doing about time of arrival and departure?
All right. Thank you, sir, for your observation.
Just short responses, because I still have so many questions here for you.
Number one, about 23 million people or thereabouts competing in that little space.
Right.
People coming to Lagos that can go back to, we're managing a huge population within a small space. Yes, there are not enough buses, but we have investors that are coming in, that discussing with Lamata, to bring in buses to support the system, because the government cannot do it alone. Part of the bus reform initiative speaks to private sector participation, so we're encouraging, private people to come in there and, provide more buses so that we can move. And there are plans to, what do you call it, ITS facilities in the bus stops that
as well,
damaged.
Okay then. This one says, good morning, Mr. Victor. My question is, what now happens to the extortion from bus stops? Because it also affects the pricing. What happens to your NURTW henchmen at bus stops that extort and affects pricing? All right, you didn't put your name, but thank you so much. So, are you going to be monitoring all of this to ensure that extortions by NURTW men will cease?
Thank you very much for that question. Number one, NURTW is part of the bus reform initiative.
So they know about it.
Number two, the cashless system for payment of transport fares will take care of that. Okay. And we have an understanding. We are working out what will be the best modus operandi for ensuring that the unions collect their dues without having their members stay on the road and stop vehicles.
Okay, let's hope that can be tackled. This one says, hi Victor, what's been done to regulate informal operators like the Danfos and Keke riders who dominate that axis? Abosa Day from Chisco. Do we have the Keke riders on that corridor? Okay.
We don't. We hardly have,
on that Keke.
However,
but within the inner routes, right?
Yes. However, what we've said is maybe maybe the use of semantics. These informal operators, the transporters are the operators.
Okay.
Just like and formalizing, them. So that's just.
They've been incorporated into this, right?
Sure.
All right. This one says, hi. Will this new system significantly cause travel time? Okay. Will this new system significantly, what do you call it? Okay, significantly cut travel time between Lekki, Ajah, Songotedu, and Ekpe. Anita is sending this one in. Anita, thank you so much. Is it going to cut travel time?
Yes, very well. Now you have so many Kodopoes darting along, and stopping on, just on the road where they see passengers. Now, when buses stop at, bus stops that have been assigned by the state, it reduces congestion. Okay. When you have fewer, when a bus can take 60 people, it takes 10 Kodopoes away from the road. So when sanity returns, of course, travel time will improve.
All right, this one says, good morning, Lagos Traffic Radio. Victor, please, can we get Ikeja Electric back on air? They have been putting the Ogba community in blackout, and we are losing millions daily. Enough is enough. Shehu Ibrahim. Shehu, thank you so much. But we have Ikeja Electric on the Pigeon segment, and that's between 12:30 to 1 on Wednesday, so you can listen to them and put in your complaints to them, okay? Quite unfortunate that Ogba people are going through that, but let's begin to round this off right now, Engineer Ojewuro. So, looking to the future, what should be the prospects of this BRI on the Lekki-Ekpe corridor, and how will it improve things for commuters?
Well, we have said that earlier. It's developing an efficient, effective, safe, and timely transportation for all commuters on that axis. It benefits the state because they will be better able to manage the operators. It benefits the operators because their operations is better organized, and it will benefit commuters in the sense that you're riding in very safe buses and you have very sane drivers, and the traffic congestion is reduced, hence travel time reduced, and we'll be saving a lot of money. All
right, we have to leave it at that for now. It's nice having you in the building. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm delighted to be here too.
Okay then, so he is the engineer Olasukomi Ojewuro. He's the director of transport operations and the one who